A related story now this summer, folks from Texas A&M Kingsville will be attending the first ever International Rural Mental Health Conference. Our Marissa Cummings here now to tell us what that means for South Texas. Marissa?
Joe, the faculty from A&M Kingsville will be traveling to Scotland to learn more about providing mental health care to people in remote areas. The person leading this effort is Interim Dean of Education Steve Bain. Bain is a part of the university's rural mental health program and says more remote and isolated areas have difficulty accessing and affording proper mental health care. He says by attending the international conference, he hopes to learn what other countries are doing to tackle the same problem. Bain says 8 countries are attending the event, some of which are European. He says in Europe, they've gotten a better grasp on treating mental health care because it's seen as basic health need.
And yet we have it dichotomized where we have health and then we have mental health. And yet your health consists of both physical and mental health.
Other Kingsville faculty will be attending with Bain from departments like agriculture and social work. The conference will be taking place August 12th and 13th. Joe?
Okay, Marissa, thanks for